have just a few opening comments. First of all, thank you, Linda, for asking us to be here tonight. And thank you to Mount Union for hosting us. Thank you to the Burton D. Morgan Foundation for the support that they give our clinic that enables it to reach out to Northeast Ohio students like you. We definitely want to help students exactly like you with your business planning. The last thing is the lawyerly disclaimer. We are not giving you any legal advice tonight. We are giving you information. So I see a few smiles. That's good. That's as funny as lawyers get. Anyway, to introduce you to the services that the Seed Clinic offers, I'd like to start with this video. Hope that broadcasts. All right, let's see if I can pull this off and go to the next slide. Hey, it worked. So we didn't have to watch cat videos, on YouTube. That's what comes up next when you're done with this. Let me just reinforce a few things there. Some of the examples of the services that we provide, and they were in the video, but I don't expect you to commit that to memory. We will help counseling with new businesses as they're forming, as they're working up their business model canvas, which is really excellent, Linda. I think the number one issue we see with a lot of new businesses that come to Seed to get established is they haven't been through the discipline of that planning process. And they don't know how they're going to make money, and they don't know what investments they need to make. They haven't considered how to measure their status and their progress, okay? It's not glamorous. It's really important stuff, though. And some of the other services I'll group into a couple of categories. One is liability protection. So we help new businesses. If you're selling coils to warm concrete or dissolvable fish hooks, we'll help you with sales contracts. We'll help you with services contracts. And in those contracts, we will put protection in there that protects you as a business as best we can from liability that you would incur as a result of providing those sales or services, okay? So think about liability protection that you can get built into these contracts. And then finally, think about protecting your competitive advantage. Many small businesses don't realize that their processes, their secrets, their methods can all be considered trade secrets and make their business more competitive than someone else's. It's fairly obvious if you're reaching out to a supplier to make fish hooks or coils that you need that supplier to tell you that they will keep secret what you disclose to them. Okay, that's a confidentiality or non-disclosure agreement. We can do that for you. It's also important as you hire employees that join your team that you make those employees aware that they may learn while they work for you some secrets, and it's their obligation to keep those a secret. Okay, so just some of the ways that Seed Services can help a business become established. We also answer legal questions that come up. For example, my church has a yard sale every month with donated goods. Do I have to have a vendor's license? And do we have to collect sales tax for that activity? Okay, there's an interesting answer to that, which I won't give. But we take on legal questions as well associated with your business. So that's it. The easiest way to reach us is to go to our website and apply online. That flashed past real quickly on the video. The Seed Clinic site, uakron.edu/seed. If you forget that, just Google Seed Clinic Akron. It should be one of your first hits. It's so easy. 2 buttons, request for services, and if I can get my head out of the way, join our mailing list. And we want to make that as easy as we can for you, and we definitely want to reach out to Northeast Ohio colleges and universities just like yourselves. So don't hesitate. There's a pitch competition in a few weeks at the University of Akron, and all those teams are going to be asking for just a consultation before they pitch. We're happy to do that. Well, that's it. So thank you so much. We have 2 topics today. We have choosing a business entity form that fits, and we have when to call an attorney. One of you gentlemen would like to go first? Shul? Let's have Shul come up. Let me go ahead and get your presentation up here, Shul. As this loads, you'll see Shul in front of you in just a moment. I'm not sure what this says. Let's just go right here. Shul Perez is our one of our students in the Seed Clinic, and we've asked him to provide this brief lecture on what sort of business entity to form. And I'll tell you in advance, we don't want you to be a sole proprietorship or a partnership. I won't say more than that. And I think you'll learn why. Shul, would you like to? Sure. Okay. I think, go ahead and step up. I think you'll be in the camera here. And you can take your mask down while you speak. And I think you can just advance the slides like this, go back like that.
This
okay.
and this.
Arrow keys, if that's easier for you. Here's a couple of arrow keys right here.
Right here.
Now that's moving.
No.
That's moving.
He's moving that one. No?
Yeah, you can
so
move over here. Go.
I just do it like this way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Or yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. We'll figure it out.
Very good.
Well, my name is Shul Perez, and I want to talk to you about how to choose a business entity.
Let's hide the, should we hide the notes?
I don't know. Maybe we make it big, this. View, high percent view.
There you go. Oh, that's very good. I wish we'd done that for my presentation. Thank you. Excellent.
So just as Professor Mosley mentioned, I'm not giving legal advice, just general information. So what are the default choices? In other words, if you don't choose any entity, supposedly that you, I don't know, you want to start like a business, like we know that it's going to get warm, finally, hopefully, very soon. So, and then you decided, well, let's sell some lemonades right there at my house. And then all the neighbors start liking your lemonades and you start having like a great business and then start growing. And you basically do not do anything. Do you have a business entity? Yes, you're at that moment, even if you didn't file anything, you're already a sole proprietorship. Well, supposedly that the business is going very well, and then your neighbor tells you, do you know that lemonades are the best? I haven't ever tried such a lemonade like the ones that you're making. I'm going to invest some money and let's go big. Let's go not only sell here to the neighbors, let's go and sell it to the community. And where I'm going, like I can invest money and we can rent a building and then we can start selling those lemonades. And they said, yeah, that sounds a good idea. And then we can do it. The same, you don't file anything, you don't do anything, you don't go and register your business or anything like that. Even if you didn't realize, you already have a general partnership. Now, Professor, this is not the, I don't realize it, this is not the one, this is not my presentation, this is the one that you put, the old presentation, like the one that you reviewed. Not a problem, I even have my computer, I can just connect it. Oh no, but that will mess up something.
Yeah, let's look through the slides here and let's see how much we're off here.
Yeah, that's a
okay. That's the wrong one.
That's the wrong
okay,
presentation.
let's do this. I'm so glad you noticed that. So let me go here to. Let's pick the right file here, Shu.
Okay. Very sure either. I can email it to you or anything.
No, that should be fine. Let me go here. We'll launch it separately. Let's do something else. Let's. Excuse us for just a moment while we figure out what we're trying to do here. Let's not duplicate for the moment. Okay, let's go back here and let's find the right one. Okay. Is this it, Shul? 228? No, that's questions. No. Entity selection, 223.
I sent it to you.
I think this is it. Let's make sure.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, perfect.
Okay, I'm so sorry about that.
No problem.
So let's go to share. Here. Browse my computer. Use. Yeah, let's do that. What's this one? What's this one? Open it again.
He's preparing the first
thing.
Yeah, that's the one.
You up there? Yeah.
Then I can. I know how
Okay,
to
we're
change
back.
it.
Let's try it.
Yeah, that's the one.
I don't see the slides. Oh, there you go. All right. Sorry about that.
No problem. I can just make it
We're
also.
gonna do a little editing on the video.
Yeah, it is. So basically, I was mentioning, even if you didn't realize and you just decided just to get another person, and they say, well, let's just try to make an association so that an agreement so that we can have this venture and we can have profits. Even if you didn't realize, you already have a general partnership. Now, there is a big problem with that. I don't know, suppose that the lemonades are great, but suddenly you didn't realize and the water was contaminated. And then people start getting sick. And then they decided to go after you, after your business, because they say, well, here I have all these medical bills that I need to pay for. And a lot of people are coming to you. And you say, wow, what can I do? Then you, even if you sell all the assets of your business and even all the income that you might be able to already gather, suddenly you don't have enough money to pay for all those lawsuits that you're having. Then they can go after your personal assets. They can go after your house, after everything that basically you have. And that's the big disadvantage with that kind of default choices, that you have unlimited personal liability. If the business cannot pay for the liability, then they will go after you. So that's why we don't recommend. So we know that there are the default choices. You basically don't have to do anything and you already have an entity, but we don't recommend that. So what will be other options that we can recommend? One will be a limited liability company. Now with this company, you can have a separate legal entity. That means that the entity is going to have a shield. Just as a corporation that is kind of like a separate entity, this kind of company, it has its own entity. So if there is an issue, they can go after the entity. Obviously, if you are working, if you are an employee of that entity and you are negligent, they can also go after you. Like in that sense, yes, there is some liability that you can have, but at the same time, you can protect yourself. Like there can be like insurance for that kind of negligence, or even you can protect your identity with some kind of negligence insurance, like for employees. So that's a big advantage. The other big advantage of a limited liability company is that you can have a flexible structure. In other words, you can decide with your partner, how do you want to structure your company? Like, okay, let's see that you want to have like 40% or 60% or whatever equity you want to give to your partner. Or let's see if you, or supposedly that you want to, the members to manage the company, you can do that. Or even if you just want to be an investor with other persons and then you want to hire managers, you can do that also. You have all that kind of flexibility. Basically, it can be similar to a corporation, or you can do it more like a partnership. And also, this kind of entity, it is called a pass-through entity. And it is called pass-through entity because the entity doesn't pay income taxes. You pay the income taxes. In other words, the income from the entity, it passes through the members, and you are the one who pay the income taxes. So that's one of the characteristics of this limited liability company. There is another company that is called, another entity that is called the corporation. Corporation also has its own legal existence, similar to the limited liability company. It is separate from its shareholders, like it is separate from the owners, and then the owners also, they have that limited liability. They have that protection, that shield. One of the characteristics of that corporation is that the shares are basically the ownership interest. Like that kind of ownership, those shares are fully transferable. It's very easy to share equity in that sense with other people, with other investors, or for example, with employees, if you want to share equity with employees. It's very easy in that sense to transfer those shares, those kind of equity in your company. But that the corporation is great. The only thing is a little bit or more expensive, I will say, and also complex. So with that one, yes, you need to follow all the formalities. You need to make sure you have everything in place, your articles of incorporation, your bylaws. You have your board of directors, your meetings, and also make sure that you follow all the statutes according to the bill. Like if you are here in Ohio, that you follow the State Corporation Act, like here from Ohio. So another thing with the corporation that is different, like from the LLC, is something that is kind of known as a double taxation, because the corporation pay taxes. Like remember with the LLC that I mentioned that it was a pass-through entity and the members pay the taxes. In this case, no, the corporation itself pay the taxes. So the corporation has the income, they pay the income taxes. And later on, if the corporation want to distribute those profits to the shareholders, like if you want to get some of those profits, you are going to pay taxes also when you receive that distribution, or it's called dividends. When you receive those dividends, you also pay taxes. That's what is called double taxation, because the corporation pay taxes, and then if you want some of that profits, obviously, then you're going to pay also taxes as a shareholder. There is another kind of corporation similar to the C corporation, but different in some areas. That one is a pass-through entity, and with that one, the shareholders, they pay the income taxes. There are some limitations with that corporation regarding the identity of the shareholders and the number of shareholders and all other limitations, but basically that could be also another option. So what can we say? When an LLC might be the best choice? First, if you want to have the same liability shield as a corporation, obviously you can choose an LLC. You want to have a flexible structure, like you can make that, remember that economic arrangement with the partnerships, with your partners, sorry, if you want to make the economic arrangement with the partners, and you want to have that flexibility structure. You want different ownership interests, profits, losses, allocations, distributions, liquidation rights, some kind of different ownership interests, and you want to allocate them in the different partners, different ways. You can have that flexibility. Or if you want just to avoid the complexity of a corporation, it's cheap and easy to run an LLC. So you may want to avoid the double taxation. Remember that the members pay the taxes with the LLC. So that could be an option. When a C corporation might be the best choice. For example, if you are planning on going public, later on you want to put your company in the public and you want people to be able to buy your shares and to be able to sell your shares and all those things, and or I don't know, perhaps you later on want to join together with other companies and you want to do some mergers, or you want to acquire other companies, some acquisitions, some kind, or you want to structure with your company, like divide your company later on in different ways called spin-offs. That will be the best probably option, a C corporation. Also for not-for-profit organizations that they want to they want to get some grants, like public grants or private grants, or they want to give like tax deductible receipts. Also, it's a good idea to have a C corporation. And as I mentioned, also, if you want to share equity, like with employers, with investors, an easy way to do it like that is with just the shares of a C corporation. So, as a conclusion, what can we say? Well, the first thing, you remember that you need to run away from a from those default choices. Like if you don't do anything, you're going to be a sole proprietorship or you're going to be a general partnership with another person. Just run away from that because at the end of the day, you never know how can you, or like that you will be liable at the end of the day. You could be liable and they can go after your personal assets. So that's the thing that you want to say, no, I want some kind of protection, some kind of shield. So run away from that and choose obviously an entity with a liability shield. It could be a limited liability corporation. You want a flexibility to structure your company with your partners. You want an economic agreement that you want to be very flexible in the kinds, what kind of equity you want to have or give to your partners, or you want to divide the ownership interests in different areas to allocate profits to some partnership and some losses to another one. So those kind of things. You have that flexibility with the limited liability company. You want to avoid complexities of the corporation. Obviously, that could be your choice. Or you can go for a corporation. No, you are thinking more to going public, or it's important for you to have investors to start sharing equity in that sense and making it easy. Go with a corporation. And obviously, you also can seek advice. No, you can have an attorney or also the seed clinic, like we knew that we already had a presentation about the seed clinic, a promotional, so we can also help you with that. Well, any questions? Yes.
I'm looking to refile my LLC through the seed program. How would I go about scheduling and doing that? Because I've been like kind of looking at the website and I kind of just fill out an inquiry form. Is that all supposed to do?
Yeah, I think the professor probably will be better equipped to answer those questions.
Let me repeat the question just in case the microphone didn't pick it up for our audience, and help me if I didn't get it right, but you have an LLC now?
Yeah, but it was like something that my partner did a while ago and legal thing that it's not working for how we need to work. We've just been filing our income on like the C statements.
Okay, so you can abandon that and file for a new LLC.
Yes.
Exactly. So, yeah, the easiest thing in the world, I say it's easy because I've done it a few times. Go to our website, fill out that request for services form. There's only 6 or 10 questions on there. In your own words, tell us your legal need. That goes right to my inbox and to another staff attorney's inbox in our offices. We'll come back to you. We have all our meetings virtually. You don't have to drive to campus. You know, we'll send you an MS Teams invitation. And for you, our service is going to be free anyway, but for anybody, the first consultation, our first contact with a client is free. There's no charge. And then we'll decide, how we can assist you with filing for another LLC. LLC is very, very popular format. Shul did a really nice job describing that. So I would say 90% of all new filings in Ohio are LLCs. It's so easy. And it does give you that liability shield, that's equal to filing as a C Corp. And so it's a very popular format.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
So just to follow on, so what Cam asked, so he's in a partnership, right? So can you roll that partnership into the LLC, or is there something separate in this partnership?
Well, it sounds like he's already filed for an LLC with another individual.
LLC, it's a two-person LLC. It's really not a partnership.
It's semantics. We got to be so careful. So as attorneys, every time we hear partnership or partner, we think of a non-shielded entity. And so we tell LLC individuals to call themselves members or owners or founders, but not to use the word partner. Of course you're partners, but you just avoid the use of that word. And you can restructure that LLC that exists, but it's really easier just to let that die and go file for a new one.
That's what we're planning on doing.
Yeah.
And then we talk partnership agreement, so it wouldn't really be a partnership agreement.
Yeah, we talk operating agreement.
Co-owner agreement?
Yeah, we'll call it an operating agreement. So again, we'll lose the word partnership. It's so common. Everybody calls them partnership agreements, but we're just going to change our vocabulary. Operating agreement.
Operating.
Yeah, exactly.
so with me and my other member, through the seed program, could we get like a agreement written up and then I can take it somewhere, sign it, and get it notarized?
Yeah, you are a walking commercial for our services. Well, sitting right now, but, so one of the things we do, of course, is we help you organize as an LLC. You will file your own paperwork. We don't file for you, but it's incredibly easy, as you probably already know. Then with 2 or more members or owners in the LLC, it is best to have an operating agreement, which is a rule book about how you divide responsibilities and who has what financial interest and how do you vote on issues and how do you dissolve it and how do you add new members and all that stuff. And that's another area we're happy to help you with.
Thank you.
So we'd love to do that. Yep.
And then one more semantics question.
Okay.
So right now you said you're not giving us legal advice.
Yes.
If Cam comes to the seed clinic,
Uh-huh.
will you then be giving him legal advice? about
Yes, we will.
Just because in my business, like, I can't tell you what type of entity you are, I could be giving you legal advice. That's not legal for me to do that. So, but once they're once they're working with the seed clinic, you do give them advice.
Absolutely. We're not in a confidential environment here, but once you come to us and we set a meeting up with you, we're in a confidential lawyer-client relationship, and yeah, we'll help you out.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay, really good. We should probably move on.
Yeah, you're-
Larry, let's get you up here and let's get to our next presentation. If I can figure out how to do it, Larry, I will try.
Yeah.
And get to the render.
Oh, I got it. Yeah,
Okay.
that's why I was talking. I took a drink of it and just went down.
I think this is it, isn't it? DDM seed, when to find the lawyer?
Final? Yeah. Does it say?
Yeah, it does, final.
Yep, that's the one.
All right. Larry, I'm going to give the floor to you, and how do we change the projection mode so that we didn't show the notes on the side? Remember how you did that, Shul? Go up and help us out, and while you're getting that,
Resident PowerPoint expert.
I just learned it. Even I didn't do anything.
What's that?
Look,
That was weird.
that was good.
Somebody's controlling it.
He fixed it.
okay.
I saw you coming.
If anybody has a technical issue, just have Shul stand around the computer, fix himself.
All right, and then this. Okay. All right, I think we're good to go. My name's. What's up?
I just want to make sure that it is kind of like that, or actually is the high percent review. Nah.
Awesome.
Yes,
Thanks,
sir.
Ron. All right, so my name's Larry Housel. I'm obviously in the Seed Clinic. I'm a third-year law student. Appreciate you guys having us out today. Appreciate this opportunity to talk to you guys. I really admire entrepreneurs. I think it's great what you guys are doing. So hopefully you guys will find this presentation helpful. I'm going to talk about when to hire a lawyer, specifically for entrepreneurs, up-and-coming small businesses, looking at it through that lens. All right, and just to give you an overview of what I'm going to talk about today, we'll start with the lawyer's role in the world of the entrepreneur, talk about what we can do. We've gone over a lot of that already, but I'll just kind of recap it. We'll talk about when you don't need a lawyer, stuff you can do that doesn't require going through a relationship with a lawyer. And we'll talk about when you do need a lawyer, things that should be a flag for you to reach out and get legal advice or legal help. And then once you make the decision to work with a lawyer, some tips on how to best do that. So lawyers and entrepreneurs, there's a lot of stuff that lawyers can do, and in their role as partners or working with entrepreneurs. What sticks out to me the most is risk, because you guys are taking on a lot of risk. It's in the nature of the businesses, so to speak. As an entrepreneur, you're putting yourself out there and you're taking on a certain amount of risk, and lawyers can help mitigate that risk. Because a lawyer is going to follow precedent, They're going to follow established laws. They're going to urge caution, and they're going to look at everything through the lens of what is in your best interest. And that leads right into the liability and the reduction of liability. So a lot of times you think you're getting a lawyer because you're resolving a legal dispute or because you have to deal with a legal dispute, but reaching out to a lawyer at the early stages of your business at the right time helps keep you out of legal action. That's one of the main reasons you want to start a relationship with a lawyer. So reducing risk, helping reduce your liability, understanding how you might be liable by, you could be liable for something your employee does, and your lawyer can help explain that so you know where you stand with the other people that are members of your business. Obviously, compliance, following guidelines. I know he was talking about a bowling alley, I think food industry, childcare, things like that have very different and specific regulations, and a lawyer can help with that, as well as any federal, state laws that you might not be aware of. You can get guidance on that. Agreements. As an entrepreneur, you're going to be forming, you're going to be making agreements with a lot of people, and those might just be verbal agreements, clients, vendors, partners, whatever they might be. And with the caveat of it isn't legal advice, I think it's safe to say you're going to want to get that in writing, and you're going to want to have a lawyer to look through that agreement or contract with your best interests in mind, so that they can position you well within that agreement. And lastly, intellectual property, the secret sauce, the ideas that you guys are having. A lawyer is going to be able to spot what the value is in your business and what should be protected, and enable you to take the steps necessary to protect your ideas. So when you don't need a lawyer is something that you want to keep in mind, because lawyers obviously are expensive and they're not necessary for everything you're doing for your small business. If you are detail oriented, if you don't mind doing research and obviously filling out forms, there's a lot of things you can do to move your business forward without a lawyer. Getting a business license and registering your business in Ohio, a lot of that stuff can just be done online, filling out a form. Getting a business loan, you're working with loan officers, people that can walk you through the steps that you need to take in order to get a loan. You don't necessarily need to go through a lawyer to do that. If you're working with the government, federal government specifically, and you want to register through their award management program, you can do that online without a lawyer. Getting an employment identification number. Hiring employees, there's payroll services. There's some instances you might want to get an NDA and you'd work with a lawyer on that. But again, now we're getting into contracts, we're getting into agreements. But just to hire an employee, you can do that through a payroll service or a payroll professional. And a Dun & Bradstreet number, basically a credit report for businesses. So you can do all those things are examples of stuff that you can do if you're willing to put the time in yourself to get them done, which leads us to some more resources that are available to you guys to use beyond just hiring a lawyer. So these are some examples that were just we went through and put together. And I'll have links at the end of this for all these if you guys want. But they're excellent services. They're mentorship-based services that you can go to. SCORE is a nonprofit mentor-based service. The I-Corps was mentioned in the seed presentation. These are all services that are going to connect you with the resources you need. They're going to provide guidance for you, or maybe connect you with the funding you might need. All excellent resources to reach out to if you're starting your business and you're looking for guidance or you're looking for help.
Hey.
Almost all of this is free.
Yeah, I'm going to just say something, because I think Linda Hale's an expert in directing, you to resources.
Yeah.
There are many more than these.
And I use, we use a lot of these.
Okay.
Of course, LaunchNet, you kind of have to be at one of the schools that have the LaunchNet.
Sure, so that's through Kent State, and Akron Law is a seed clinic, obviously.
So anyway, don't forget about that resource right
I think
there
you guys hear that all the
to
time.
help your
right?
classroom out. She
That's
is
my job.
really top shelf.
The day job.
And public libraries too. I don't know if any of you guys are doing a nonprofit, but the Akron Public Library has a great nonprofit resource center. And they also have all kinds of small business resources available.
They have
So
a patent and trademark resource center as well.
yeah, so I mean, lots of good stuff out there beyond reaching out and starting a relationship with a lawyer. So that's what you can do yourself without a lawyer. But when you're during your business venture, there's going to come times when you do need a lawyer, and you should be thinking about legal advice. These are some things that stick out right away. We spent a lot of time talking about business entities. It's something that is going to have ramifications, long-term ramifications for the direction of your business and what you can do as your business grows or as you make decisions about your business. So talking to a lawyer that has the expertise to guide you properly based on where you want to go is a really, it's fundamental to starting your business. Creating and reviewing contracts, again, you want somebody to look through a contract with your best interests in mind. Whenever you're creating an agreement or a contract, it pays to have a lawyer to look at it and review it and position you for success through that agreement or contract. Protecting IP, we talked about that, and some of the ideas you guys are talking about here today. There's definitely some secret sauce there that you're going to want to protect. So confidential legal advice is the last thing. Because you have the client-attorney privilege when you're talking to a lawyer, you can be very forthcoming and honest about your concerns, and the lawyer's going to be able to give you very frank advice, and that can be very useful for a young entrepreneur or older entrepreneur, anybody getting started, things to think about. So those are the main things you're going to want to look at when you come across these things in your entrepreneur journey. You want to think about legal advice. You want to think about starting a relationship with a lawyer. And when you do make that decision, here's some tips when you're talking to a lawyer for the first time and starting and debating on moving forward with them. You start looking at fee structure, industry experience. Fee structure is really important so that you're just on the same page. As most lawyers will be very forthcoming right out of the gate about what their fees are, but it's good to know what the fee is and what the payment expectations are, how they're, how that might be spread out, and what your requests are going to entail over time. Knowing the lawyer's experience in the industry is important as well, especially if you're getting into some niche industries that have that are highly regulated. You want to know if that lawyer has experience in that industry directly, and that leads to the referrals. You want a lawyer that's open to referring you to other lawyers for specific things that lawyer might be more of an expert on, or other service providers like accountants, marketing, whatever it might be. You want to be able to use that lawyer's experience in the industry and in the area in order to get connected with the right people. And communication's a big one too. What's the best way? What's the preferred way to communicate? What's the expectations as far as getting answers and responses to questions, things like that? All these things are just stuff you'll want to talk about with the lawyer as you're getting started with them. So one quick caveat, when you do start your business, and some of you guys might have been exposed to this, and you start to register and all that information is public, you'll start to get a lot of junk mail or email, junk email or regular mail with basically unsolicited offers. In some cases, it might look like you need to take action, and you just want to be aware of that. Most of the time, it's not with your best interest in mind. So something to think about with the stuff that'll start coming up to you. Everybody wants to be involved in the life of an entrepreneur, apparently. Lastly, the summary. We went over a lot of the different resources, a lot of things you can do to help yourself succeed as an entrepreneur. But knowing when a lawyer is needed is the best way to protect yourself and your business. So hopefully this helped kind of guide you guys in that decision-making process. And these are the links to all the services that I put up there. If you want to, you can scan that QR code if you want, and it'll give you access to a document with all those links. That's it. Unless you guys have any questions. Sure.
Is there anything that people try to do by themselves or believe that it's easier to do by themselves that y'all think that you should get a lawyer to do?
In my limited experience, the operating agreement's a big one. You know, when you start up an LLC with somebody else, you should have an operating agreement. I'm sure Professor Mosley's probably got more things he's run
Really
into.
excellent. Yes. I don't know if I can be heard if I don't stand
Oh,
right there.
good.
That's really excellent. You know, a lot of people want to save on a lawyer, so they find a template for a contract or for an operating agreement. They sign it and they're good. They really don't know what they've done and how they protect themselves or failed to protect themselves. So I think as Larry mentioned, contract documents, things like operating agreements, those are real good opportunities, you know, to check with a lawyer, especially for your personal liability protection. One clause we put in almost all of our contracts, just for an example, is a no special damages clause. That means if anybody raises a claim against you, they slip and fall on your floor and they break their foot. Okay, they have a valid claim for that injury to their foot, but we put a clause in that says you can't claim any consequential damages. That person can't say, because I broke my foot, I couldn't go to see my stockbroker in the afternoon and I missed the opportunity to make $1 million selling stock, so now you owe me $1 million. You say, nope, no consequential, no punitive, no special damages. Sometimes even limit damages. I think these individuals in the back considered a subscription service or a software lease and an income stream. We can put a clause in there that says, to the extent the law would allow, the maximum damages anyone can claim is equal to the revenues they have paid over the past 6 months. Okay? So things like this, you know, I think lawyers can provide a lot of value back to you as opposed to just grabbing a template. And yeah, that's it. Oh, one more thing. Always ask the lawyer the fees, and Larry mentioned that. And remember, every time you email or call a lawyer, they are going to bill you. So make your conversation short and to the point. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, well, thanks, guys.
Really appreciate you coming in, talking. Really appreciate you actually driving here and coming in and talking to us instead of us trying to do all of this stuff. It's great too.
But it is.
Nice to see the two of you in person.
It is wonderful to be here in person. It's our pleasure to be here. Once again, our seed services are there in particular for Northeast Ohio College students. So just don't hesitate to get in contact with us. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording now. And those joining us from Burton D. Morgan, we're going to just close this meeting. Thank you very much now.